A woman found. She found something strange. The originally hot summer was now snowing. Just as she and her husband stood by the window puzzled, her best friend suddenly walked back from outside. Today, we recommend a thrilling movie, only for you on .com and .top domains. Let's watch it together. The woman was about to ask. She was frightened by the scene in front of her. Her best friend was covered in dust, with blood coming out of her ears. Before the woman could speak, she fell to the ground. They quickly took her to the emergency room, but when they were waiting outside, Man noticed a strange phenomenon. The hospital suddenly had many patients, and they were all in the same condition as her, and blood was coming out of their ears. Seeing this, Hyung seemed to have thought of something. He quickly asked the woman to go home with him, but the woman refused to leave. Man had to tell her his idea.
We've done all that we can for Carolyn. Right now, I'm thinking about you.
I'm fine.
It's only 1 minute.
The woman also saw that something was wrong, and quickly followed her husband back, and bought several sets of protective clothing on the way. When they got back, they sealed the windows with plastic sheeting, and disinfected the whole house. For her safety, they also installed curtains in her bedroom. After everything was done, Man let her go to sleep with confidence. The next day, the woman woke up. She found her husband hadn't slept all night. He wiped the living room again, and went to the supermarket early to buy a lot of food. The woman wanted to accuse her husband of being too nervous, but suddenly heard her phone ring. She picked it up and found it was a voice alarm, telling all women not to go out. Only then did the woman realize the problem was serious. At this moment, the TV also broadcast an emergency news. A virus that suddenly broke out globally. A virus that only women can be infected with. So the woman stayed in the house and couldn't go out. She thought that when experts developed a cure, they could end this life. But after a month, there was no solution. But more and more women were infected and died. The outside world was already in chaos. To better protect his wife, Man came to the weapons store. He had to buy a pistol for self-defense. Every day when he comes home, Man disinfects himself. The woman was locked in the room, like a bird in a cage. She looked out the window every day, praying for it to end soon. No one expected that the days of fear would last for a year. On this day, the woman's father suddenly sent her a video, but her husband repeatedly asked her not to make a sound because people's phones are being monitored now. If they find any healthy women, they would be taken away and locked up to reproduce the human race. After the woman agreed, her husband gave her the phone and covered the camera. But when the woman answered the video, her father told her that when someone went to search the house today, they found a mother who was not infected with the virus. Even though she was so old, she was forcibly taken away and locked up. Seeing her father so helpless, the woman couldn't help but respond to him.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Build a website with a .com or .top domain name to create a complete online presence. Man immediately grabbed the phone and hung up. He didn't want his wife to be found and taken away. But at this time, the woman was almost in a breakdown. She had been locked up in the house for a year. Stayed in the room for a whole year. Now even comforting her father is being stopped. She accused her husband of treating her, controlled her like a prisoner. While her husband said it was all because he loved her and protect her, so they had a big fight. And even picked up the pistol on the table. And forced her husband to let her out of the room. Man had no choice but to leave temporarily. But not long after he left, the woman put on protective clothing. She also wanted to go out and see the outside world. Then the woman stood alone on the rooftop. At this moment, she seemed no longer afraid of the virus and even hoped that she had been infected so she wouldn't have to stay in the room and never see the sun again. As long as she could breathe the air outside, she would die. Thinking of this, the woman took off her protective suit, and at this moment, she seemed to feel the feeling of returning to freedom. Meanwhile, Man just caught up. He wanted to stop her, but it was too late. Seeing the woman make such a choice, Man broke down instantly, unexpectedly, after a year of hard protection. It was all in vain. Seeing Man like this, the woman also felt a little guilty, but she didn't regret it. Then the two returned to the room without a word. The woman silently took out the antigen for testing. While waiting for the result, they both felt extremely tormented. 5 minutes later, the liquid in the bottle turned blue, which means the woman was infected with the virus. Man looked at the bottle for a long time without saying a word, but the woman looked extremely relieved. She began to pack her bags impatiently since she was infected with the virus. She completely let down her guard. The woman wanted her husband to take her out for a walk for safety. She even disguised herself as a man. Then she and Man went to a pancake shop. After eating canned food for a year, he could finally eat some fresh food. But before she took a few bites, she heard a news on TV. Anyone who reports or catches a living woman, they can get a 1 million yuan bonus. This made them suddenly become solemn. They didn't have time to eat. They paid the bill and left quickly. But they didn't know that they had been noticed by the old man at the door. After leaving the restaurant, the woman's ears started to bleed. Obviously, the virus was attacking her. It means she can only live for 6 days at most. When she really faced death, the woman's heart is also very fragile. She ran into the woods alone and cried non-stop. After venting, the woman decided to spend the remaining days with her husband, so she decided to go to the forest, the waterfall where they first dated, and have a good time together. But things didn't go as they wished. The domain names .com and .top were easy to pronounce and promote. The next morning, when Man woke up from the tent, he found the woman beside him was gone. He was anxious to go out and look for her. But as soon as he opened the curtain, he was pointed at by a gun. It was the old man and his son from the restaurant. The man was instantly panicked. They wanted to catch the woman to claim the bounty. The old man asked Man where the woman was. But Man said nothing, so the old man tied him to a tree. And all this was just seen by the woman who came back with water saw. Seeing the gun, the woman quickly turned around and fled. But unexpectedly, she was discovered by the old man. The woman could only run for her life. She didn't know how long she had run. She was too tired, so she had to hide under a big rock. But as soon as she hid, her condition recurred again. Her limbs were weak and instantly fainted to the ground. Fortunately, the old man didn't find her. Only the woman was lying on the ground and kept twitching. Fortunately, at night she regained consciousness, and while the old man and his son were asleep, quietly untied Man's rope, and they quickly escaped from there. They didn't dare to rest along the way. They walked all night. They found the waterfall where they once made vows. Looking at this beautiful scene, they seemed to have returned to their first love. They looked at each other and felt an indescribable feeling in their hearts. Maybe at this moment, the woman regretted leaving the room. She regretted it. When she really had to leave her husband, she was also very reluctant. Although she will be free soon, but leaving Man alone in this world, it will be a great torment. Since it has come to this, the woman had to take off the camera around her neck and took the last photo with her husband. She hoped this could be her belief to live on. The movie ends here.